What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Great Outdoors. I'm your host, Jason Ostrowski, aka the Polack, and today I have for you the Osprey Outdoors Lean Ascent Alpha. Let's get it. Well, here it is, the Lean Ascent Alpha. I have no clue why I said alpha in the opening sequence there, but this is it. This is the first of its kind in its space, an all-in-one system for climbing and saddle hunting. So you're going to be able to climb the tree using this system. You're going to be able to take this post, which is folds down. You're going to be able to raise it up. You're going to spin this, which is kind of hard to do with one hand. And then you're going to actually tow hook this while you're in the tree. So you're going to be able to climb up whatever distance you want, 10 foot, 12 foot, 30 foot, and then you're going to be able to tow hook this thing and saddle hunt out of it like any other platform. Now, I will say the climbing portion of this is a little different. You got to kind of get used to it. But once you get climbed up and you tow hook this thing in, it's freaking rock solid. I'm very impressed, and I was very surprised that it was going to be as solid as it is. So going over the technical specs on this thing, this is a 16 by 13.5 inch platform, and this thing packs down pretty flat. So you can take this, obviously you're going to spin this out of the way, and then these arms fold up. So, you know, you probably have about 4 or 5 inches there of, you know, profile that you have to deal with. But if you put this on your back of your pack, it's not going to be any issue at all. Now, these cables, you can push these cables way up here, up high, so it'll be out of the way. So it does kind of pack into a semi, you know, collapsible version. Obviously, it's not as small as a saddle platform, but remember, this is your whole climbing apparatus. On their website, they list this platform here without the cable and the cam strap. They list it as 5 pounds. I don't know why you'd list it that way. This is your full setup. You're gonna need your cable, you're gonna need this strap. I had it on the scale at 7.3, so still very lightweight. If you remember, you're eliminating your climbing sticks and you're limitless. You can climb as high as you wanna go. Now, you do have some issues with, you know, the straight trees. If you have limbs, you know, how do you go around them, stuff like that. So there are some limitations here, but 7.3 pounds, and you're going to be able to hit any tree you normally would hit with a climber and basically climb as high as you want. So this is going to fit any tree 6 inches to 22 inches in diameter, very similar to a lot of other climbers on the market. I had it on my shit tree, which is over here. That's like maybe like a 6 or 8 inch diameter tree. I was able to climb up it a few feet. You know, I don't have, it's not very tall, but I was able to get up it a few feet. And then in my front yard, I have more like an 18, maybe 20 inch diameter tree. And that's what I did primarily my climbing on. And it works well on that. So it's going to be able to fit a good wide range of trees. It's not going to fit the huge trees, but this is a real true mobile run and gun system. The cost on this bad boy is $379, and you're going to pay about 20 bucks to ship it. So you're going to be right around 400 bucks to get this Lean Ascent shipped to your home. So when you get your Lean Ascent, you're going to get it in the box. You're going to open it up. There is some assembly required. Now, it's fairly easy to do. I will admit, it took me probably 10 minutes because I was kind of filming it as I went. But honestly, it was very easy to put together. If you have any sort of mechanical ability, any sort of, you know, just know-how, you're going to be able to put this together pretty well. So the real key features on this platform climbing system is it's an all-in-one system. Like I said, you're going to be able to go up the tree, you're going to be able to get up to hunting height, you're going to fold this down, and then you're going to rotate out your standoff. This thing has a very generous standoff. I think it's actually really well done. It's kind of wide, and it's also kind of curved in a little bit, and it bites very well. So you're going to be able to rotate that in and then tow hook this. Now, the reason that this rotates is because once this is down, you don't want it in the way of your feet. So your feet are going to go on either side. You have straps here which are going to hold your feet and lock them in. I will say, if I could kind of complain about one thing, thing is I feel like these little tie straps they seem like they loosen up a little bit. So what I would suggest to you is kind of find the sweet spot and then just wrench those things down, maybe double knot them so they can't move. The other thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stealth strip this thing when you get it. When you get it out of the box, there are some noisy areas because of these clips and things. You definitely want to stealth strip this thing. I would highly suggest that if you're going to use this platform, that you go through and stealth strip it, and then you also put some traction tape on the bottom here, because this is aluminum, this whole aluminum construction here, but this piece here, it's just kind of like smooth and kind of, you know, it's just, I feel like it could get slippery when wet. So definitely want to put some grip tape on there. Just like, I don't know if you had like an old Summit back in the day, everybody used to put the grip tape on those aluminum slats, very similar to that. So being that this is an all-in-one system, you don't have to take anything apart, you don't have to really do anything other than pull your cable out, which is just like a normal climber. If you've ever used a Summit climber in your life, you're just gonna get to the tree, you're gonna kind of tuck this into your side, and then you're gonna undo these little things here and pull the cable out and then set it to the appropriate angle. Just like a climber, you're gonna have to have that angle. And that was a little bit tough, to be honest, because you're at the base of the tree and you gotta do that old thing where you kind of pull yourself up. So what I did is I took my tether or my lifeline, which I was using just my Canyon CIV, I believe it's called, with the Mad Rock. So I was using a lifeline as I go, but I would set my tether up and I would grab onto the rope and pull myself into the platform. I found it to be much easier to get into the platform when you have that pitch in there. And then once that pitch is in there, you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna get your feet secured, you're gonna sit into your lifeline, your tether, whatever you use, you have to use something. You're not gonna use a linesman belt with this thing. I do not suggest doing that. This is tether climbing or lifeline climbing. So once you get that up, you're gonna set your tether as high as you possibly can, and then you're gonna sit in your saddle. And the technique to climb is fairly simple. What you kind of do is you take your hands and you just push it against the tree, kind of like braces you and supports you. You can use your knees as well. I highly suggest knee pads, but you kind of just hold the tree a little bit and then you just lift your legs up to your butt as high as you can. Now you are going to have to practice with this thing. When I first got it, I will admit I was getting frustrated because I wasn't climbing very fast. I was making very short, shallow moves, and I actually reached out to these guys and I said, hey, you know, can I have some pointers? They pointed me to their YouTube channel, and I will put something up here so you can see it, but they have some really good videos on this kind of tutorial videos that you can check out their climbing methods. There's definitely I would say a technique to it, and I think you have to be kind of you know, honest with yourself. If you're not in the best physical shape, you probably shouldn't be using this thing. I mean, I'm kind of like teetering a little bit, whereas like I can get, you know, by doing it, but you know, if I was any fatter or heavier out of shape, it'd probably be a no-go for me. You have to have some athletic prowess to be able to get up in the tree with this quietly. That's the key word, quietly. Any fat guy can climb up the tree with this, but can you do it in the woods quietly? So the functionality of it. So obviously you get to the tree, you set it up, you get it in climb mode, you're sitting back in your saddle, you're going up the tree. Once you get to hunting height, what you're gonna do is you're going to kind of get it set, kind of shimmy it a little bit, and then you're gonna have to let out a bunch of bridge and lower yourself down to where you can get to this piece here. And you're gonna fold this up, you're gonna fold the platform standoff and set it up, and then you're gonna take your cam strap. So this comes with a cam strap. You're gonna put it on your Versa button here. You're gonna go around the tree. And I did it a couple different ways. I did it once where it was over the cable, and I did it once where it was under the cable. It seemed to work fine both ways. So I don't think you have to worry about that so much. It's just kind of depending on what tree you're on, how it's gonna go. But you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna get your strap as tight as you possibly can, and then you're actually gonna tow hook this thing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the slack out of your bridge, you're gonna kind of pull yourself up a little bit, and you wanna put your weight on top just like you would any other platform, and you're gonna do the tow hook. Now, because of my weight and how heavy I am, it seems like a lot of things that I tow hook, man, it really wants to flip up really good. So you can see in the video that it kind of flips up and even the cable kind of comes off. So One thing that I would suggest doing is you can tighten these bolts on either side, kind of keep them tight. You don't want them so loose, because what happens is when you go to tow hook it, it just really flings up. So you want to kind of keep it tight. So once you go ahead and tow hook this thing in, it was actually surprised me how good it bites into the tree. You're able to make all the moves. Now you can see in this video, I'm kind of moving around the platform, but it was my first time filming me up that high, and I was a little bit nervous. So I was kind of more reserved than I would normally be, but you really can. You can kind of make all the moves around the tree. This thing really doesn't move that much. There maybe is like a little bit of rocking. It's never going to be as good and as tight as like a full-on tow hook on a platform. And that's just because you can't really get it that tight, because you know, you're at the mercy of being able to pull it as tight as you can around the tree. But it gets, I think, good enough, and probably more than good enough. I mean, it was surprising how good. And the nice feature about it is, of course, you're tied into the tree, but you have the cable going around as well as this. So you kind of have like a double layer system of protection there, and I thought that was really cool. So once you're done hunting, you know, you killed your deer, you're going to go ahead and just reverse that process. So you're going to go ahead and make sure that you have weight on here, so your cable's loaded. You're going to take your strap off, you're going to fold your standoff out of the way, put this in position, and then either you can rappel down like what I did because I was climbing on a lifeline, or you can reverse the process and just climb down. I didn't like trying to climb down. It definitely works, but honestly, I just rather just rappel. I think it's so much easier. Just grab your Mad Rock and go. I rappel super slow, but I think for me, I would probably want to rappel from this system. But if you're super athletic and you want to climb down, you know, and save the weight of having a Mad Rock and having the rope, by all means, this will absolutely do it. A couple other key features I want to talk about. This is obviously, it's very similar like a Summit cable. The shrink wrap on here is kind of chintzy. I was climbing on a red oak mainly, but this shrink wrap is just beat to absolute shit. So it's really not going to last that long. I think they should probably use something a little better material. Another cool feature is there's two hooks built in right here where you can actually have a tie-off rope. So if you've ever used a climber, you always have to kind of tie off your bottom section so you don't lose it, you know, when you're going up. So this has the same, you know, functionality. So you're going to take your rope off. I put a little Rock Exotic carabiner on here just to make it a little bit easier, but you're going to take that rope and then you're going to tie it off to your saddle. I highly suggest you use a saddle when you're climbing with this method. It's, in my opinion, the easiest way. One of the really cool features is when you are at hunting height, you're able to adjust your platform pitch. So it does have an adjustable bolt here. It kind of, when you look at it, it kind of looks like the Hawk system, you know, the Hawk platform. That's an absolute piece of crap. But this is much more robust. The welding seems to be done a lot better, and it seems pretty beefy in here. Now, time will tell. I don't show any signs of wear on mine. It looks like I got it from day one, and I've done about 10 or 12 climbs with this platform, but I don't know what's going to happen. You know, time's going to have to tell. I actually plan on trying this in deer season because I just want to take it out in the field and see how it performs. But, you know, I don't know how all these things are going to hold up. So I've only had this thing for a few weeks now, so time will tell. All right, so to kind of round out this video, I always want to talk about the features of the product, but I always want to talk about things that maybe worry me or maybe things that kind of, you know, makes me nervous. One thing is, this is a new company, Osprey Outdoors, never heard of them. It's my understanding that it's two guys, one guy in Wisconsin, one guy in Florida. So it's an American company, and they're doing all the design work here in the States, but this is actually being made overseas. So it's being made in China. We all know about Chinese quality. I will say that looking at this, how it's built, how it's welded, it does appear to be at a higher level than I've seen from a lot of Chinese manufacturers. But time will tell, you know, is what kind of company is Osprey Outdoors? You know, this thing is affordable. I think $400 for what you're getting is a good price because you're eliminating your climbing sticks. So really all you need is a saddle and your ropes and you're ready to go. So you're definitely going to save some money on this system. You know, it is noisy. Like I said, there's a lot of things on here. You know, I'll hold this. You know, there's a lot of potential for noise here. So you really do. You're going to have to silence this thing. I would honestly probably cover this thing in stealth strips. It really needs a lot, especially on these square tubes. These square tubes are hollow tubes. They're just going to make a bunch of noise. The other thing that concerns me. And this is just me being a mobile gear hunter, review guy, is if you look at this platform, typically on a climber, there's a stabilizer bar here. There's no stabilizer bar here. So this is basically, these two arms are gonna take all the pressure and the force. And I can kind of take them right now and they kind of like bend in a little bit. And I look at that like, that's gonna be an issue maybe down the road. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, I've been wrong before, but on a bigger tree, it doesn't bend them out as bad, but I did notice on that little small tree, if you just kind of put some weight in here, it really does put a lot of force bending these together, and it's just gravity and physics. You know, the cable, if you have a cable that's being pulled in, it's gonna pull those arms in. So I don't know what's gonna happen long-term with that. Hopefully those guys have tested that, because I really don't want this thing to fail. I think it's a really cool product. Last but not least, one of the really cool features they have on here is they have this steel hook. It's actually on the back. So that is built in for a ring of steps. So you can run your cord through there, or if you have the ring of steps that has the little, S hooks on there, once this thing is all set up in the tree, you can run your cable through there and you have an absolutely bulletproof 360-degree system. So that is a really cool feature. If you're gonna all day sit out of this in gun season or something, you wanna be able to just hit every inch. I think that's a really cool feature. All right, guys, well, this is a really cool product. I'm happy to have it. This is, one of maybe two or three other variations of a climbing saddle platform on the market. So I'm excited to see what Osprey Outdoors is gonna bring to the table. It's my understanding they have some other cool products that are gonna be coming out. So it's very exciting to see more companies getting into the mobile hunting space. Now, I am going to hold on to this. I'm going to take it out this season hunting. So there will be a follow-up episode. Maybe I'll make another episode kind of showing what I do to silence this thing, because if I'm going to take it in the woods, I'm definitely going to have to silence it. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it's helpful for you. Comment down below if you have any other questions. And yeah, check them out. OspreyOutdoors.com, the Lean Ascent Alpha. Peace. Fuck, dude.